Introduction. Hey friends! If you're a true Minecraft lover and you're super hyped to watch the upcoming A Minecraft movie 2025 in English, then make sure to like this video right now. And if you're visiting our channel for the very first time, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on your favorite movies and games. In today's video, we're diving into the blocky, adventurous world of a Minecraft movie. Yep, that's right. The game we all love is coming to the big screen, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. From what this movie is all about, to where you can watch it, the OTT platforms or TV channels it might be available on, we've got it all covered. We're also going to dig into the technical side, the animation, the music, production details, the budget, and of course, once it's out, the box office collection too. Oh, and don't worry, I'll also share a brief review, a quick rundown of the plot, and all the interesting facts behind the making of this film. Plus, we'll talk about the star cast, the characters, who's voicing who, and how each actor has brought these beloved Minecraft characters to life. It's gonna be a fun ride, so I really recommend you stick around till the end of the video. So, without wasting any more time, let's break some blocks and start the video. Plot and narrative. Let's dive into the blocky adventure. Okay, picture this. The movie kicks off in the peaceful overworld where our hero, let's call him Steve, yes, the Steve, is living his best life. Farming a bit, crafting a diamond sword, trading with villagers, maybe punching a few trees as one does. Everything seems chill until BM. Something strange happens. The sky turns red, lightning cracks across the blocky horizon, and portals begin to open. But wait, these aren't your average nether portals. These are chaotic, glitchy, purple-black rifts that are tearing through the code of the world itself. Yup, the Minecraft world is glitching out and no one knows why. And then enters Alex, our brave, whip-smart co-heroine. She's been exploring ancient ruins and finds a mysterious enchanted book that might hold the secret to what's going on. Something to do with an old legend about the Ender Heart, a mythical relic lost in the End Dimension that controls the balance between the overworld, nether, and end. Now the journey kicks into high gear. This isn't just a fetch quest. Oh no, my friend, this is an epic, block-hopping, mob-dodging, dungeon-diving mission across every biome you can imagine. Think icy tundras, lava-filled nether fortresses, spooky abandoned mine shafts, all animated in glorious detail. But here's where it gets interesting. The movie plays around with perspective. Sometimes we're seeing things through Steve's eyes, sometimes through Alex's, and occasionally even through the POV of a creeper. Yep, that happens, and it's hilarious. At one point, there's a flashback-style glitch sequence where we get glimpses of how the Minecraft universe used to be before it became corrupted by this mysterious Ender force. The plot doesn't just move in a straight line. It's full of twists and turns, like when you think they've found the Ender Heart, but nope. It's a decoy, and it triggers a redstone trap that collapses a mountain. Or when a friendly-looking NPC turns out to be a corrupted agent working for the mysterious villain. And oh boy, wait till you meet the villain. Let's talk about the big baddie, the Codebreaker. This shadowy figure is half-coded glitch, half ancient player, a being who was once a master builder but got trapped in the End Dimension for cheating the game's rules. Now they want to reshape the world into a chaotic sandbox where nothing matters. No rules, no players, just endless destruction. Very villain monologue in a digital throne room vibes. The emotional core? That's the bond between Steve and Alex. They start off as rivals. He's all brute strength, she's all brains. But as the story unfolds, they build this amazing friendship. There's this one moment where they're separated. Steve gets trapped in the nether, and Alex has to outsmart a whole army of skeletons to save him. Emotional, intense, and beautifully animated with a moody soundtrack that hits you right in the pixels. And let's not forget the supporting characters. There's a sarcastic Enderman who decides to help out, only for selfish reasons, of course. A tiny but brave baby zombie who becomes an unexpected ally, and even a Minecraft dog named Blocky, who honestly deserves his own spin-off. Every 15 minutes or so, there's a wild new set piece, a ride on a flying elytra through a storm, a battle with a giant wither in a crumbling fortress, a hilarious pig-riding escape from a creeper mob. It just keeps escalating. And the finale? Oh, the finale. Picture a massive battle in the end, with the fate of the entire Minecraft multiverse hanging by a single enchanted totem. Does it follow the typical beginning, middle, end structure? Sort of, but with all the side quests, flashbacks, code glitches, and quirky POV shifts, it definitely keeps things fresh. You never really know what's coming next, and that's exactly what makes it so much fun. Oh yes, let's talk character development, because in a Minecraft movie, 2025, the characters aren't just pixelated icons punching trees, they're layered, dynamic, and honestly, kind of emotional in the best way possible. So buckle up, because we're about to take a deep dive into the hearts, minds, and hot bars of these blocky heroes. Video game Steve, the reluctant hero. You might think you know Steve. Strong, silent, punches wood with his bare hands. Classic. But in the movie, Steve is way more than just a default skin with a diamond sword. He starts off kind of grumpy, a lone wolf type who's all about survival mode. No friends, no teamwork, just chop, craft, repeat. But guess what? Under that square-jawed exterior is a guy who's been hurt before. Turns out, he lost a whole village once because he trusted the wrong redstone trap. Flashback scene incoming. That guilt makes him closed off, super cautious. But as the world begins to fall apart, he realizes that going solo won't cut it this time. And watching Steve slowly open up, trust again, and literally carry a friend through lava, yes, that happens, is just chef's kiss. You'll find yourself rooting for him like he's Rocky, but in block form. Crossed Swords Alex, the smart one with a soft spot. Now, let's talk about Alex. The queen of crafting, parkour pro, redstone wizard, and basically the Hermione of Minecraft. She enters the story like a total badass, sliding down vines, flipping levers with style, decoding ancient lore like she's been doing it since beta version. But she's not just the brain of the team, she's got a deeply personal reason for going on this journey. Her brother, a former End explorer, disappeared during a failed expedition to find the Ender Heart. She blames herself, thinking she pushed him too hard to take that quest. So yeah, she's not just solving puzzles, she's healing. What's beautiful is how Alex and Steve balance each other. She teaches him strategy. He teaches her how to let go of guilt. They bicker, they clash, they save each other like 12 times. And no, it's not romantic, though the fan theories will go wild. It's more like battle-tested besties who truly grow stronger together. Bone Blocky the dog, yes, he deserves a whole section. Blocky is the loyal wolf Steve tames in the first act, but by the halfway point, this pupper is more emotionally layered than some Oscar-winning characters. He's not just there for comic relief, though he does chase a skeleton in circles for a solid minute. There's a moment where he gets injured protecting the team from a Ravager, and I'm not saying the theater got dusty, but you might need tissues. Later, he refuses to leave Steve behind, even when the portal is closing. He's the heart of the story. He's the Samwise Gamgee of the overworld. Smiling face with horns, the Codebreaker, the villain with a tragic past. Now for the spicy part, the villain. The Codebreaker isn't just a glitchy boss fight. Oh no, he was once a legendary player, someone who broke the rules, yes, but with the dream of creating a perfect world. Problem is, the system punished him, trapped him in the end dimension. Slowly, he became corrupted, not just in code, but in heart. His motivations are actually kind of sympathetic. He wants to destroy the current world not out of evil, but because he thinks it's broken beyond repair. If everything is buildable, nothing is real. Deep, right? And here's the kicker. He sees a bit of himself in Steve, which leads to a wild moment where he tries to convince Steve to join him. For a second, Steve hesitates. Eyes. Ghost supporting cast, Enderman, baby zombies, and unexpected heroes. You didn't think the main cast would steal all the spotlight, right? There's a snarky Enderman named Void, who speaks in weird glitchy code, and only helps the team because he owes Alex's brother a favor. He constantly teleports away at dramatic moments, but always comes back just in time with the solution no one asked for. A baby zombie named Zig, who gets abandoned by the other mobs and teams up with Blocky. He's small, fast and absolutely chaotic, like if a raccoon had a sword. You'll love him. There's even a librarian villager who becomes a low-key MVP in the final act. Can't speak English, just goes HRM, but somehow knows exactly what book they need at every step of the way. Mysterious. Powerful. Probably a wizard. So, yeah, this isn't just a build the portal, fight the dragon kind of story. These characters evolve, their relationships shift, and by the time the credits roll, you'll feel like you've been through a real journey with them. You laugh with them. You stress with them. You might even cry a little when one of them makes the ultimate sacrifice. Not gonna spoil it, but it hits hard. Absolutely. Let's dive into the performances like we're reviewing Shakespeare at a Redstone theater. No stiff critic hats here, just pixelated popcorn and hype. Performing arts Steve, grumbly, growly, glorious. Okay, let's talk about Steve, voiced by an actor who clearly understood the assignment. He starts off giving big, leave me alone. I'm building a moat energy, all grunts, side eyes, and painfully long silences. But somehow, the voice work nails that emotion-packed silence. It's like Clint Eastwood got trapped in a crafting table and decided to start emoting through inventory clicks. But then, as the movie progresses, we hear little cracks in that emotional bedrock. That gravelly voice starts to tremble a bit in the flashback scenes. And when he finally shouts, "I won't lose another village," during a siege of pillagers, the whole theater went silent, except that one kid who whispered, "Yo, Steve's crying." And yeah, we all felt that. There's this one moment, no spoilers, but let's just say Steve carries a teammate through fire, and he screams their name like it's the last respawn point in the world. Absolute chills.
Who knew Blocky Steve had such range?
Collision Alex, sass, smarts, and serious feels. Now Alex, total scene stealer. Her voice actress brings that fast-talking, redstone-slinging genius energy with every line, like she's been rehearsing since alpha version. She's got one-liners that land like enchanted arrows. That's not lava-proof? Well, guess we're learning the hard way, but then turns around and drops an emotional monologue about her brother that's like, suddenly we're in a whole drama. She does this breathy pause, not overacted, just a subtle hitch, when she mentions the Ender Heart. Like her voice knows there's something she's not ready to face. You'll catch yourself leaning in. She's funny, fierce, and freaking believable. Plus, her banter with Steve? Electric. Not in a will they won't they way, but more like two warriors who've trauma bonded over creeper explosions and near-death jumps. Honestly, she makes decoding an ancient redstone puzzle feel as tense and personal as disarming a bomb. Emmy for Best Lover Poll, anyone? Paw Prince Blocky the dog. Give him the award already. Blocky doesn't even talk. He barks, whines, growls, and somehow has the most emotional arc in the movie. The sound designer deserves a treat, and maybe a bone, because this pupper acts with every tilt of the head and tail wag. When Blocky gets hurt, the entire audience gasped. When he limps but still charges into danger, audible sobs. There's this moment, mid-battle, chaos all around, and Blocky stands in front of the portal like a silent guardian. Doesn't move, doesn't flinch, just growls at the void like, not today. And everyone in the audience knew what that meant. This isn't just a sidekick. This is a hero. Best supporting bark, anyone? Firecracker Zig, the baby zombie. Chaotic icon. Voiced like a hyperactive chipmunk with a sugar high, Zig is pure chaos energy. Think Rocket Raccoon but smaller, squeakier, and occasionally on fire. The actor behind Zig clearly had way too much fun, and it pays off. Every time Zig squeals out a war cry before flinging himself into a horde of mobs, you'll want to cheer. But here's the twist. Zig has a quiet scene. Just him and Blocky, under the stars, sharing rotten flesh and memories. And that tiny, raspy voice says, "They said I'd never be more than loot." Cue the tear-duct ambush. It's so unexpected, so raw, that the laughter from 2 minutes ago totally recontextualized. This little monster has feelings and range. Cyclone Void the Enderman, glitchy with gravitas. Void speaks in what sounds like a broken synthesizer trying to read Shakespeare, and it is art. Every line is weird, poetic, and just slightly unsettling. The performance is layered, part alien, part philosopher, part I've seen too much. And yet, somehow, he delivers the funniest line in the film with a deadpan glitch. Probability of success, minimal. I brought snacks. There's something hypnotic about how Void talks, like a haunted auto-tune filter that read The Art of War. The voice actor could have gone full comedy or full creepy. Instead, they did both. Simultaneously, while teleporting. Brain the Codebreaker, broken, brilliant, beautifully performed. Now this villain? Not your usual mustache twirler. His voice is smooth but layered with static, like he's half man, half console error message. His monologues are terrifying not because he's shouting, but because he believes every word. You can hear the hope turn to bitterness in his tone, like a builder who lost his blueprint for Utopia and decided the whole server needs to crash. There's one particular scene where he tells Steve, "We're not so different. I just stopped pretending the world made sense." And the way he says it, so calm, so final, it feels like a punch to the soul. You almost want him to win. That's acting, baby. Man-Mage honorable mention. The librarian villager. Just grunts. That's it. A charm. And yet, he delivers emotional depth with those hmms like Morgan Freeman reads bedtime stories. There's a scene where he passes Alex a book mid-battle. No words exchanged, and she gasps. Somehow, we all know exactly what it means. This villager, is a silent MVP. Give him a spin-off. Tone. Between a pickaxe and a heartstring. From the very first frame, that slow zoom through a misty, abandoned village with a single, haunting redstone torch flickering. You know this isn't just slapstick crafting montages and creeper explosions, though yes, those absolutely exist too. The director balances tone like a seasoned Minecraft speedrunner balances on a single block over lava. 1 minute, you're laughing at Zig falling into a cauldron. The next, you're watching Steve stare at an old map with tears in his eyes as echoes of a lost village hum in the background. It's that emotional tightrope walk, sincere but never cheesy, funny without deflating the stakes, that makes the film's tone feel alive. Movie camera mood. Epic but personal. This director doesn't just paint big end-dimension battle sequences. They know when to zoom in. A glowing sword clutched a little too tightly. Alex tracing her brother's initials in a hidden cave. Blocky, asleep next to a campfire, paw twitching like he's dreaming about bones and bravery. And then boom, you're launched into a sweeping glide over vast biomes, with an orchestral score swelling as the sun sets over the savannah. The contrast between micro-emotion and macro-adventure? Chef's kiss. It's what gives the whole movie that this is huge, but it's also my story vibe. The exact kind of emotional scale you want in a Minecraft tale. Video game stylistic choices. Blocky, but make it art. Let's talk style. Because holy obsidian, the director gets creative. There are scenes that feel like Minecraft YouTube cinematics on steroids. Like when a memory is shown in a fractured, glitchy time-lapse, as if we're watching corrupted gameplay footage. Or the moments when the end dimension pulses with inverted gravity and upside-down camera angles, making the audience feel like they just fell through a nether portal in real life. Oh, and the use of light? Gorgeous. Torches cast warm, flickering shadows in caves that look like oil paintings. Moonlight dances across the ocean as the team sails toward an ancient ruin. And don't even get me started on the final battle. Lightning reflecting off enchanted armor. Particles swirling around the Ender Heart. It's like watching a boss fight inside a dreamscape. Also, major props for letting the HUD heads-up display sneak into some scenes. Health bars blinking. Hotbars glowing under pressure. Subtle, but immersive as heck. Like you're watching a player inside the story. Stopwatch pacing. Like a perfectly timed jump. Pacing in a Minecraft movie could have been a disaster. Too slow, and you're just watching mining montages. Too fast, and you miss the world building. But the director nails the rhythm. Act I builds like a survival tutorial. Cautious, methodical, full of setup and mystery. Act 2 ramps up with escalating threats, clever redstone puzzles, and interpersonal clashes. Act 3, full send. Portal opens, Plot threads collide, lava flows, emotions burst like TNT. But even in the chaos, it breathes. Right when you think you're gonna collapse from excitement, there's a quiet campfire talk. A lonely walk across a snowy tundra. A cut to void, alone, muttering cryptic lines to the stars. It's like the movie knows when you need a moment to heal your little pixel heart before breaking it again. Open book narrative vision, not just a game. At the core, the director clearly asked, what does Minecraft mean to people? And then answered with creation, loss, risk, rebuilding, friendship, mystery, and choice. They don't spoon-feed exposition. They let the world speak for itself. A half-finished base says more about a character's fears than any monologue. A lever left unpooled hints at a backstory. And the idea that everything is buildable becomes not just gameplay, but philosophy. It's rare to see a film lean this hard into its source material and elevate it. But here, the blocks are just the beginning. The director uses them like pixels in a painting, arranging a world where danger and wonder hold hands, and every jump, climb, and minecart ride matters. Yes, yes, yes. Let's talk cinematography. The real magic behind the pixels that made a Minecraft movie, 2025, look like it was shot with a diamond-encrusted IMAX camera inside a dream. Because this movie, it doesn't just look cool. It turns camera angles, lighting, and framing into emotional weapons. You're not just watching the story. You're inside it, sweating through lava tunnels and staring into the starry abyss like you're Steve with trust issues. So grab your enchanted spyglass. We're diving into the delicious visual feast that is this film's cinematography. Movie camera angles, from epic sweeps to intimate blocks. First of all, they went hard with the drone shots. Imagine soaring over the overworld, clouds rolling in, biomes stretching out like pages in a living storybook. But then, bam, the camera drops low, skimming over grass blocks at sprinting speed, chasing our heroes like it's a first-person speedrun challenge. There's a lot of clever angle work that mirrors in-game perspectives. Like when we peek out from Steve's POV while he's crafting, his hotbar pulses faintly, items shuffle rapidly, the edges of the frame flicker with torchlight. It's immersive, nostalgic, and oddly intimate. You feel like you're holding the controller, but also like you're peeking into someone's soul. And get this, during high-tension stealth scenes, hello, Warden Temple, the camera dips behind walls or hovers over ledges, mimicking Minecraft's third-person sneak mode. It's a subtle nod, but it ratchets up the tension big time. You're not just watching them hide, you're holding your breath with them. Waning crescent moon lighting, blocky shadows, and emotional glow UPS. If lighting in this movie had a difficulty setting, it would be hard mode with shaders on ultra. Torches flicker realistically in underground tunnels, casting long shadows that move with the characters. The deeper they go, the less natural light remains, until you're practically feeling the claustrophobia. Torchlight becomes a character, flickering, fighting back the dark, and in some scenes, dying out altogether. In the end dimension, everything glows wrong. The sky pulses purple. Shadows fall upward. Enderman eyes flicker like neon signs in a forgotten city. It's beautifully unsettling, like the world is alive but just barely clinging to sanity. And when we hit emotional beats, the lighting tells the truth before the characters do. There's a flashback with Alex and her brother where the only light comes from redstone torches. Dim, red, ominous. By the time you realize what's about to happen, it's already burned into your heart like a mob drop you couldn't save. And we have to talk about the sunsets. The director milks every golden block of daylight. Soft lens flares, clouds bleeding orange and pink. Our heroes silhouetted on a cliff, wind rustling their capes, the world behind them stretching on and on. It's like Bob Ross built a biome and cried a little while painting it. Direct hit framing, like the world's prettiest screenshot folder. Minecraft is all about symmetry and chaos in equal measure, and the cinematography plays with that. Some scenes are framed with geometric precision. Characters dead center in towering libraries, framed by books and vines and glowing enchantment tables. Others are delightfully off-kilter, hinting at the unstable world or fractured emotions. One standout? The villain's lair, all jagged obsidian, tilted angles, reflections on polished blackstone floors. The camera moves uncomfortably smooth, like a ghost on rails, giving everything that "you're not supposed to be here" vibe. Another, the final campfire scene. The camera slowly circles the group as they talk, slow, deliberate, like it's afraid to interrupt. It captures their quiet, weathered faces, lit by flickering flames, framed by ruin and starlight. No big music, no dramatic zoom, just silence, symmetry, and a pile of gear that says, "We made it, but we lost something too." And don't even get me started on the nether sequence, where every frame is dripping in contrast. Orange lava rivers against the black sky, shadows stretching like claws. The camera floats above, then dives below, then pushes in hard as the characters leap from one crumbling platform to another. It's tension, it's beauty, it's cinematic parkour poetry. Fire visually striking moments you will screenshot. Let's list them like rare drops. Alex silhouetted by an exploding creeper, slow-motion dirt flying past her face, eyes locked on the end map she refuses to drop. Blocky's paw print in the snow, just one, framed against the vast white expanse. Next to it, Steve's handprint. No words, just frame, snow, and feelings. Void the Enderman, standing at the edge of the void, pixels glitching around him like a corrupted JPEG. He turns, half in shadow, and says, "We are all unfinished." Instant desktop wallpaper. The codebreaker's reveal, his form reflected in hundreds of shattered glass panes. Each pane shows him slightly differently, younger, older, broken, hopeful. The camera never blinks. Oh yes, let's dig into the editing and pacing of a Minecraft movie, 2025, because wow, this film slices, dices, and transitions like it's being cut by an enchanted diamond sword wielded by a redstone-powered samurai. The rhythm? Chef's kiss. The momentum? Carried like Steve carrying Alex through lava. And the transitions? Smooth like buttered obsidian. We're not just talking about what happens, we're talking about how it flows, like water through a perfectly dug aqueduct. So grab your stopwatch and your emotion detector, because we're about to time travel through tension, heartache, and pure blocky adrenaline. Act's opening sequence. Let the crafting begin. The movie kicks off with a montage that slaps. Like a cinematic TikTok edit made by a seasoned survivalist, fast cuts of tree punching, stone mining, pig chasing, and bed crafting are synced to a beat so tight it could be a redstone pulse. But what makes it pop? It breathes. Each burst of energy is followed by a tiny pause, Steve chopping wood, quick cut, crafting table, longer beat as he sighs. The pacing teaches us his world and his mindset without saying a word. It's rhythmic storytelling. Minecraft lo-fi beats to survive and develop emotionally too. Repeat button transitions. Seamless AF. This film does not believe in boring cuts. No sir. Here, transitions are Minecraft meets magic. A villager slams a book shut, cut to a shot inside a library. Alex flips a lever, boom. It literally flips the scene, rotating us 180 degrees into a flashback. Someone tosses an ender pearl, the camera follows it midair, and when it lands, we're in a completely new biome mid-action. Chef's kiss. Creative, elegant, fluid. Even when the pace ramps up, the edit never loses clarity. There are battles where 6 things are happening at once, but every shot knows where your eyes should go. You never lose track of who's swinging what sword at which pixelated nightmare. High Voltage Act 2. Redstone Engine Speed Boost. This is where the movie flicks the switch from narrative slow burn to full-on adventure mode. The editing tightens. Cuts get shorter. Action scenes snap like a parkour montage on caffeine. But here's the trick. It's still emotional. Even during crazy sequences, like the team sprinting from a collapsing stronghold while Void the Enderman teleports in and out like a glitchy magician, we still get these precious microcuts to characters' faces. Eyes widening, jaw clenching, hands shaking. The pacing makes the adrenaline hit, but it also lets emotion leak through the cracks. And then suddenly, silence. The movie knows when to hit the brakes. There's this one scene, the group camping after a brutal battle, and the pacing just stretches. Long, static shots. No music. Just the crackling of fire and Blocky whimpering softly as Steve bandages his paw. The rhythm slows your heartbeat down on purpose. You feel the weight of what just happened. It's a pacing gut punch. Clapperboard flashbacks and glitch cuts. Stylish, but never confusing. One of the trickiest things the editors do? They blend reality and memory using glitchy transitions that reflect Minecraft's aesthetic. No wavy soap opera effects. We're talking pixelated wipes, chunk-style fades, and sometimes a full-on redstone signal overload flash that sends us spiraling into a key character's backstory. Alex's guilt flashbacks? Delivered in quick, fragmented cuts. Torchlight flickers, her brother's face, the map falling, the sound of shattering glass. It's emotional, it's messy, it hurts. But the edit makes it feel like a memory you're inside, not just watching from the outside. The Codebreaker's descent into madness? Edited like corrupted game footage. Frames stutter. Dialogue loops. Time skips. At one point, a sequence plays backward. And it makes sense emotionally, not just stylistically. Direct hit final battle. Controlled chaos. Now this is where pacing becomes an art form. The final showdown jumps between 4 simultaneous battles. Steve versus Codebreaker. Alex versus collapsing end towers. Void doing weird Enderman things. And Blocky plus Zig in a Ravager-powered cart chase. It could have been a mess. But the cuts are so precise, it's like they were designed in creative mode. We shift between fights at emotional peaks. Steve hesitates mid-swing, cut to Alex, making a decision. Zig yells "Waiyiti" and launches a trap, cut to the aftermath explosion shaking Steve's platform. Blocky almost falls. The screen slows to half speed, breath held, and snap, caught at the last second. Then the pace rockets back up. The editing orchestrates tension. It's not just pretty, it's musical. Musical note rhythm equals emotion. What ties all this together is the rhythmic editing. You feel the highs. You sit in the lows. It's not afraid of silence, of stillness, of letting a pause be louder than a speech. And that pacing is what lets the emotional beats land like anvils from the sky. A single second-long pause on Steve's face. A lingering frame of Alex holding her brother's journal. Blocky limping into frame after you think he didn't make it. The beat hangs, then the music swells, and boom.
Tears.
Instant. Soundtrack and score. This is where things get juicy. Let's talk about the music in a Minecraft movie 2025, because this isn't just a bunch of ambient chiptunes thrown together. No. This is a soundtrack that crafts moods, builds tension, and uses music like it's mined from the deepest, most emotional ores of the overworld. The music is just as vital to this movie as any creeper chase or redstone trap. So buckle up, because we're about to take a musical journey deeper than a cave full of skeletons. Musical note the opening. Ambient Minecraft meets cinematic majesty. Right out of the gate, the music sets a tone of quiet wonder. Picture this. The very first shots of the overworld. Lush green hills, sun rising over the blocky horizon, and the score doesn't pound at you, it whispers. It's light, serene, like you're walking through the world for the first time. The classic Minecraft theme, you know the one, is there, but reimagined with lush orchestration and airy tones that make it feel alive. It's like the film is saying, remember the joy of crafting your first pickaxe? Feel it again. The music breathes through each wide shot, pacing slowly, like a peaceful afternoon stroll through the woods. Cross swords the action, from chill to full adrenaline mode. But hold on to your diamond sword, because when the action hits, the soundtrack transforms. It's a full-on roller coaster that goes from subtle to pulse-pounding. In the middle of a fast-paced battle sequence, say, when Steve is taking on a Ravager and Alex is leaping through a trap-filled temple, the score shifts into epic mode with heavy percussion and driving strings. But what makes this soundtrack special is how it saves the best part for later. The rhythm builds and builds like a looming thunderstorm, but it's not just the percussion that makes it intense. It's the sudden lulls, quick moments where the music falls silent or slows down to a near halt, only for a boom of horns or a rapid-fire sequence of piano keys to snap you right back into high-octane chaos. When Alex is solving a redstone puzzle in the middle of a collapsing dungeon, the score does this thing where it mirrors the tension in her actions. Quiet notes building into frenzied moments of suspense, just like how each piece of redstone clicks into place, one moment of brilliance at a time. And then, when Steve finally faces the codebreaker, the music shifts. It's no longer about power, but about confrontation. The music is chilly and eerie, with a haunting minor key theme that plays under the villain's monologue. You get this tingling sense of unease before the final battle even begins. Brain character themes, personal motifs, and emotional depth. The real magic of the soundtrack is how it uses recurring motifs, themes that pop up when a character is at a key moment, or when the story takes a major emotional shift. Every major character gets their own musical fingerprint, and oh boy, these are so beautifully done. Steve's theme is this low, grounded melody, almost like the sound of a pickaxe hitting stone, slow and steady. But when his trust issues start to crack open and he begins to grow, the theme swells, adding layers of strings and higher-pitched notes. It feels like watching Steve's world expand from isolation to collaboration. Alex's theme is far more intricate, with twinkling piano and rapid violin phrases that feel like someone running between ideas. It matches her energy. Always thinking, always calculating, always moving. But when she's dealing with the guilt of losing her brother, the theme slows down, becoming mournful, like a sad note struck on an empty crafting table. Wolf-Face Blocky's theme, the real MVP. And then there's Blocky, our lovable, loyal wolf. His theme is surprisingly subtle, but oh so beautiful. It's an airy, simple motif played on a glockenspiel or something equally cute, and when he's in danger or facing a challenge, the music becomes fragile, like the wind blowing through tall grass. Every time Blocky faces a hardship, the music hits with that light, emotional twinge. It's almost like the score knows we're all going to cry, and it's just ready for it. Collision silence, the ultimate weapon. Okay, let's get real for a sec. Sometimes, the best musical choice is no music at all. When Steve is standing over his fallen friend in an emotional scene, the music completely drops out. There's no swelling orchestral strings, no pitter-patter of soft piano. It's just silence. And that's where the real emotional punch lands. You feel the weight of the loss, the tension in the room, the fragility of the moment. The soundtrack isn't just about filling the space with sound. It's about knowing when to leave it empty, letting the lack of music speak volumes. And trust me, you'll feel it. Glow showing Europe Africa the final battle, a symphony of chaos and resolution. When the movie ramps up to its ultimate showdown, the final boss battle with the codebreaker, the score is like a living thing, morphing and shifting with each phase of the conflict. In the first part, there's a dissonant, almost chaotic symphony that matches the digital disintegration of the codebreaker's powers. It's glitchy, mechanical, erratic, almost as if the soundtrack is breaking down in sync with the villain's corrupt mind. But as Steve faces his own inner battle, the music shifts, moving from fragmented, electronic chaos to something more unified, something heroic. The violins build into soaring triumphs, brass swells. And when the final, crushing blow is dealt, the music doesn't just let you know it's over, it celebrates. A full, orchestral swell that makes the entire theater feel like it. Themes and messages. Here's where a Minecraft movie, 2025, starts throwing some serious punches, not with blocks, but with ideas. This isn't just a film about crafting a portal to the end or fighting off mobs. Oh no. This is a movie that builds on Minecraft's foundation of creation, collaboration, and consequence. The deeper messages here? Let's just say, prepare to have your emotions mined like diamonds in the deepest cave systems. Hammer and wrench, the power of creation and destruction. Let's talk about creation because honestly, Minecraft is all about it, right? You build, craft, and shape your world with your own hands. But here's where the movie takes it to the next level. It questions the responsibility that comes with that creation. Steve, our reluctant hero, starts the movie as a lone wolf, He's all about surviving, chopping trees, crafting tools, and making his way through the blocky wilderness all by himself. But throughout the film, the message slowly sinks in. You can't build a world alone. There are moments when Steve faces huge challenges that are just too big to tackle on his own, and every time he tries to go solo, things fall apart. The movie makes it clear, creation is a group effort. You need to trust others, rely on them, and sometimes let them carry part of the weight. But this isn't just about creating together. It's about the consequences of your creations. Enter the codebreaker, who tries to fix the world by destroying it. The idea that you can shape your world, but that power comes with risks, and sometimes things don't work out the way you expect. His whole arc is a warning that too much control can be just as dangerous as chaos. It's a subtle but heavy message. What you make matters, and so does the impact it has on others. Handshake the importance of trust and teamwork. Oh boy, the teamwork theme? It hits so hard. This movie doesn't just preach, teamwork makes the dream work, like a cheesy motivational poster. Nope. It feels like real work. As Steve begins to open up and trust Alex, Blocky, and even Void, yes, the glitchy Enderman, we watch them all go through a sort of emotional building process themselves. It's like crafting, but with relationships instead of tools. The best part? It's not perfect. There are moments of betrayal, hurt feelings, and miscommunication. Alex feels guilty for pushing her brother to go on an expedition that went horribly wrong, and Steve has to wrestle with the idea of letting others in after losing so much in the past. This isn't just about teamwork on the battlefield. It's about how difficult it can be to truly rely on others when you've been hurt before. You feel it, you know? You understand why Steve struggles with trust, and why Alex feels like she failed. It's messy, real, and so relatable. And that's what makes the eventual triumph feel so earned. The characters don't just save the day because they're a great team. They save the day because they've learned to lean on each other and trust the process. Glow showing Europe, Africa, the nature of change and progress. Now, let's talk about change. The movie explores how the Minecraft world itself is constantly evolving, the way things change, break down, and are rebuilt over time. The biomes change, the structures shift, and nothing is ever permanent. And that theme isn't just about the world. It's about people too. The Codebreaker's motivations center around the idea that the world is broken, that if everything can be built, then nothing truly matters. This whole idea of perfection versus imperfection is woven through the movie like a redstone circuit. The Codebreaker believes that if everything is changeable, then nothing is real. And Steve, who has seen the world crumble before him, starts to question this idea. Is the world worth saving if it's constantly changing? What happens when you can't keep everything stable? But then you get the heart of the message. Change is inevitable, and that's where the beauty lies. The value of change isn't in perfection, it's in growth. Steve realizes that perfection isn't the goal, it's the ability to adapt, to move forward, and to create something new out of the ruins. It's a reminder that even when things break down, whether it's the overworld or our relationships, we have the ability to rebuild. Progress isn't about staying the same, it's about finding new ways to grow together. Broken heart loss, guilt, and redemption. And we can't talk about themes without addressing the big one, loss. At its core, the movie isn't just about adventure and exploration. It's about the personal costs that come with those grand quests. Alex's guilt over her brother's disappearance? That hurts. Every time she touches his journal or remembers the fateful decision that led to his last adventure, you can feel the weight of that regret. But here's where the movie flips the narrative. The healing process isn't linear. It's messy, like building a house out of mismatched blocks. It takes time. It takes courage. And through it all, the team's support becomes a catalyst for that healing. It's a message about moving forward, even when the past haunts you. Redemption isn't about fixing the past, but about making the future better. It's about giving yourself grace, something that Steve, who's been burned by trust, learns to do by the end. Light bulb philosophical nuggets. The nature of reality. There's one moment in the movie where the villain, the Codebreaker, has a philosophical moment that'll leave you pondering for hours. He says, If everything is buildable, nothing is real. It's one of those drop the mic lines that hits hard because it challenges the entire essence of Minecraft. A world where everything is customizable, changeable, and possible. But it begs the question, when you can create anything, does anything truly matter? The film doesn't give a simple answer to this. Instead, it lets you sit with the idea, twist it in your mind, and come to your own conclusion. It's a theme that explores reality, ownership, and what it means to have control over a world that's both infinitely possible and endlessly transient. So yeah, a Minecraft movie 2025 isn't just a fun trip through the blocky world we all know and love. It's a philosophical journey about creation, trust, loss, and the constant march forward of time. And it doesn't shy away from tough topics, like dealing with guilt or coming to terms with the nature of change, but it does so in a way that's refreshing, relatable, and somehow emotionally enriching. Alright, now we're diving into the visual effects and CGI, and let me tell you, if you thought Minecraft was all about pixelated blocks and quirky graphics, think again. This movie takes those familiar blocky visuals and turns them into an absolute visual feast, blending digital wizardry with old-school charm. So, buckle up, because this is where the world of Minecraft comes to life in the most immersive way possible. CGI that feels like a seamless extension of Minecraft. The first thing you'll notice? The CGI is stunning. But here's the kicker. It doesn't feel out of place. The filmmakers don't just toss in shiny, hyper-realistic effects just for the sake of it. No, they've crafted the effects in a way that feels like they were always meant to exist within the world of Minecraft. Sure, we're talking about epic battles and fire-breathing dragons, but the digital elements blend seamlessly with the blocky, pixelated environment we know and love. Take the creeper explosions, for example. They don't just explode in a flashy, Hollywood CGI way. No, it's that familiar, pixelated cloud of destruction, but with just enough detail to make it look like it could exist in the real world. You can practically feel the tension before each creeper blast, and it doesn't pull you out of the moment, it enhances it. Collision practical effects, the perfect marriage with digital magic. But here's the beauty of it all. This film isn't just relying on CGI. There are moments when practical effects steal the show. And when I say practical effects, I mean the real stuff. Explosions, on-set props, and even puppetry for some of the mobs. I'm looking at you, Blocky. The thing is, when the movie uses real-world effects, they don't feel like a gimmick. The practical elements are used to give the world a sense of physicality that's missing from some over-reliant CGI-heavy films. For example, Blocky the Wolf might be digital at times, but there are certain moments when a real puppet version of him is used, giving him a tactile presence that makes you feel like he's really there in the same space as the characters. It makes the emotional beats hit harder, especially when Blocky's vital moments come into play. Seeing a real-life version of him interact with the cast makes his attachment to Steve all the more heartfelt. Globe showing Europe, Africa, the world itself. A beautiful digital landscape. Now, let's talk about the world building. The Minecraft world is massive, with forests, mountains, oceans, villages, and of course, the deep, ominous caves. You're not just walking through a series of pre-built Minecraft assets here. The visual effects team breathes life into it all. Imagine a sunrise over the overworld. As the camera sweeps over the horizon, the landscape isn't just a flat plain of blocks. Instead, you get depth with mountains that rise high and caves that descend deep. The lighting, particularly during these wide shots, is gorgeous. The colors of the sky shift, clouds swirl, and the glow of the environment feels like it's alive, almost like the world itself is crafting the story as it goes. But here's the kicker. Despite all this digital flair, it still feels like Minecraft. There's a balance here that's hard to describe. You never lose that pixelated charm, but everything feels bigger, more expansive, and more real. Crossed swords, epic battles, and mobs. Digital chaos done right. When it comes to the action scenes, this is where the digital effects really get their moment to shine. Whether it's the showdown with a Wither, the Ender Dragon, or an intense battle with the Ravager, the effects are next level. These sequences are wildly exciting because the CGI doesn't just show off fancy explosions or magical blasts. It enhances the strategy and intensity of the fight. Each move, each swing of Steve's diamond sword, is accentuated by the effects, but never to the point where they're distracting. They make the stakes feel real. The Ravager's massive, roaring presence isn't just about its size. It's about the weight of its attacks, the tremors it causes, and the digital dirt that gets kicked up every time it slams into the ground. Then, of course, there's the Ender Dragon. You can't forget the dragon. The design here is gorgeous, and when it takes flight, the world around it shudders. The dragon doesn't just swoop in. It exists within the world of Minecraft. The glowing purple eyes, the wings that are pixel perfect but with just enough texture to look real, and the way it interacts with the environment. It's all beautifully executed. And the battle isn't just a spectacle. It feels earned thanks to the digital effects. The stakes are high, and the effects are there to immerse you in the danger. Video game the perfect blend of old and new. One of the most impressive aspects of the CGI is that it doesn't just update the visuals for the sake of modernity. Instead, it's as if the team has found a way to enhance the Minecraft world's iconic visual style without losing what makes it so special. The digital effects enhance Minecraft's DNA, but don't stray far from what we all recognize and love. Remember those Endermen? They've got that glitchy, blocky look, but the effects team has added just the right amount of fluidity to their movements. Their teleporting feels extra creepy when they blink in and out of existence. They're still the same pixelated creatures, but with an added layer of realism that makes them feel like a bigger threat. The subtle changes like that make all the difference, and they never lose the essence of what makes these mobs iconic. Artist palette creating the Minecraft vibe with digital effects. And finally, let's talk about the digital artistry of it all. The effects team doesn't just use CGI for action sequences or big visual moments. They use it to reinforce the world's core aesthetic. From the textures of the villages to the clouds in the sky, the CGI and practical effects come together to preserve the pixelated charm of Minecraft while still providing a visual feast that makes you go, wow. The way light bounces off the diamond or the water reflections on the ocean surface, it all works together to make the world feel magical. Yet, it never loses that blocky, simple beauty that is the hallmark of Minecraft's signature style. It's the perfect balance of nostalgia and innovation, and it makes the movie feel like you're walking right into the screen and living the adventure. So, yeah, the visual effects and CGI in a Minecraft movie do more than just impress. They're not flashy for the sake of it. Instead, they support the world building, heighten the emotional moments, and bring the Minecraft universe to life in a way that feels like an experience, not just a film. Whether it's the pixel-perfect mobs or the jaw-dropping battles, the digital artistry makes the world feel like something you could reach out and touch. And that's where the magic truly happens. Alright, time to talk about set design and locations, and let me tell you, if you thought Minecraft was just a bunch of blocks tossed together in a world, you're about to have your mind blown. The sets and locations in this movie do more than just create a backdrop for the story. They breathe life into the narrative, giving it depth, intrigue, and moments that make you want to pause and just take in the surroundings. Glow showing Europe Africa world building at its finest. The first thing that hits you about the world is how vast and dynamic it feels. You know Minecraft's iconic landscapes, the forests, deserts, villages, and caves. But what this film does is take those familiar settings and expand them into something cinematic. Each location doesn't just serve as a stage for action. It's a character in its own right, with layers and history woven into the environment. The overworld, for example, isn't just a simple flat landscape dotted with trees. No, the filmmakers have carefully constructed towering mountain ranges, flowing rivers, and massive, ancient forests that have an almost mystical quality to them. You can feel the age of the land, as if it's been there long before Steve or Alex ever picked up a pickaxe. There's a palpable sense that each biome has its own story to tell, and when you move from one to the other, it's like entering a whole new chapter. Castle villages with a heartbeat. The villages? Oh man. They're not just quaint little places where NPCs wander aimlessly. The set design turns these into living, breathing hubs of activity. You've got the familiar wooden huts, but they feel like they've been customized for this movie, with little touches that make them feel like someone really lives there. The textures on the buildings are detailed. The stone feels rough and weathered, the wood aged by time. And when we move through the village, the sets aren't just backdrops, they're part of the narrative. You get that feeling like someone's home might just be around the corner. What really sells it is the way the characters interact with these spaces. Steve might chop a few logs, but then you notice the villagers actually working in the fields, creating an immersive sense of daily life. These villages aren't just decorative. They're woven into the fabric of the story, providing both comfort and tension, depending on what's happening at the moment. Desert biomes that shape the journey. But the world building doesn't stop at villages. The locations are full of character, and that's not just in how they look, but how they serve the plot. The desert biome, for instance, is more than just a hot wasteland. It's a labyrinth of ancient ruins, adding an extra layer of mystery to the journey. You don't just cross through it, you have to navigate through its ruins, each corner hiding secrets and potential danger. The set design here doesn't just stick to sand and stone, it's a puzzle in and of itself. Then you've got the caves, which are no longer just dark, dank holes in the ground. These are detailed subterranean networks that feel like they could stretch on forever. The moment you enter, you're hit with the oppressive feeling of the earth closing in around you, and the lighting? Oh boy. There's something about the way the light flickers off the glowing ores that gives you that sense of discovery and danger in equal measure. Every corner feels like it could hold a treasure or a threat. The filmmakers don't just build these spaces, they design them to reflect the emotional beats of the story. Pick props that tell a story. Now, let's talk about props. The simplest things, like Steve's pickaxe or Alex's crafted bow, are more than just tools. They're symbols of the character's growth and their journey. The materials used for crafting aren't just slapped together, they're crafted with intention. That glowing diamond sword? It's not just a weapon. It's a symbol of Steve's transformation, from a lonely, cautious survivor to a hero who embraces the strength of community. And the redstone mechanisms that Alex interacts with? They're more than puzzles. They're keys to unlocking the deeper mysteries of the world, often acting as metaphors for the character's emotional states. The more complicated the mechanism, the more it mirrors the personal complexities that Alex faces on her journey. The set design elevates the mechanics of Minecraft into something that's deeply symbolic. Castle epic structures, a world built for adventure. When it comes to iconic Minecraft structures, this film doesn't just throw in a fortress or an end portal and call it a day. These structures feel like they were built for a story, not just to look cool. The end dimension is a perfect example. It's not just an ominous void with floating islands. The set designers have transformed into an otherworldly landscape, complete with floating obsidian spires, eerie, glowing lights, and an oppressive sense of mystery. It feels like the epic finale of a journey, and the set doesn't just tell you that, it makes you feel it. There's also a key moment that happens in an ancient temple deep within the jungle, and trust me, you'll want to pause this scene just to take in all the little details. The moss-covered walls, the eerie sense of abandonment, and the hints of an ancient civilization are all designed to create an atmosphere of wonder and danger. It's a set that's not just visually stunning, it adds emotional weight to the moment, making you feel like you're discovering something lost to time. Evergreen tree nature meets design. What makes these locations even more impressive is how nature becomes an active participant in the design. The forests aren't just places for characters to run through or hide in. They're immersive environments that pull you into the world. The lighting is just right, filtered through the trees in a way that makes the leaves seem alive. You can practically feel the wind rustling through the branches and the faint rustling of mobs just beyond the shadows. The forests feel real, even though they're made of cubes. So, when you look at these sets, you realize that they're more than just places for action to unfold. These locations anchor the story, provide atmosphere, and reflect the emotional journey of the characters. Whether it's a simple village or a haunting fortress, every place is built with purpose and meaning. These sets don't just build the world, they help tell the story, guiding the audience through the highs and lows of the character's journey, one block at a time. Alright, let's get into the dialogue and script of this movie, because holy block, there are some gems here. If you thought Minecraft was all about chopping down trees and fighting mobs, the dialogue in this film will prove that even the world of blocks has room for some sharp wit, emotional depth, and plenty of memorable moments. Speech balloon character banter, a mix of humor and heart. The first thing you'll notice is how natural the dialogue feels, especially between Steve and Alex. Sure, there's the typical grumpy hero trope when it comes to Steve, but what really stands out is how the script plays with his reluctance to open up. There's this dry, sarcastic humor to him that makes him feel like the world-weary survivor who's seen it all. For example, there's this one moment early on when Steve and Alex are about to enter a spooky cave, and Steve deadpans. If I had a diamond for every time I've been in a place like this, well, I wouldn't be worried about the creepers. It's a little quip, but it sets the tone for Steve's character. He's not a brooding loner for no reason. He's just got a knack for finding humor in the bleakest situations. The dialogue here isn't forced. It's this perfect mix of snarky and relatable, which makes Steve's growth throughout the film all the more satisfying. You see the cracks in his armor when he stops throwing out sarcastic one-liners and starts being a bit more genuine. Microphone Alex's sharp wit and emotional depth. Alex, on the other hand, has this intelligent but empathetic way of speaking. She's got the brains and the emotional intelligence, and her dialogue is laced with wisdom and heart. One of the standout lines comes after a heated argument with Steve about teamwork. "I don't want to be the leader, Steve, but I'm not going to let us fall apart because you're too proud to ask for help." Boom. It's one of those lines that hits you like a block of TNT. It's not just about being a better leader. It's about accepting vulnerability and trusting others, which is a huge theme of the movie. Alex isn't just a brilliant strategist. She's the emotional compass that keeps the team together, and the dialogue reflects that. Every line from her is carefully crafted to be both empowering and relatable, especially when she opens up about the guilt she carries over her brother's disappearance. When she shares a quiet moment with Steve about it, the film takes a pause for her line. "I'm not running from this anymore. I have to face the world I tried to fix." That line doesn't just advance the plot. It humanizes Alex in such a beautiful way. It's about healing, forgiveness, and letting go. And that's what the dialogue does so well. It doesn't just give you snappy comebacks. It opens up these emotional doors that let you inside the characters' minds. Paw Prince Blocky. The dialogue you didn't know you needed. Let's not forget Blocky, the dog. Yes, the script even gives this loyal wolf a bit of personality, and the moments where he speaks through nonverbal expressions and barks are a mix of adorable and insightful. There's this one scene where Steve is about to leave him behind during a tense moment, and Blocky just looks at him, tail between his legs. It's silent, but the emotional weight of the scene is palpable. And then Steve mutters under his breath, "I'm sorry, boy, but I'm not leaving without you." Boom. Heartstrings pulled. It's a simple line, but the delivery and the emotional weight behind it make it unforgettable. This moment, small as it is, highlights the bond between man and pet in a way that's genuine and raw. Crossed swords, the villain's dialogues. Villainous, but relatable. And then there's the codebreaker, the villain. Now, the script doesn't make him just some evil mastermind with a mustache-twirling monologue. Instead, his dialogue is full of moral complexity. Take this line, for example, when he confronts Steve in the climax. "You don't understand, do you? If everything is buildable, nothing is real. That's what you're protecting, a fake world built on false hope." It's a brilliant line, and what makes it so compelling is that it's not delivered with malice, but rather with an intense belief in his cause. It's tragic, really. The Codebreaker's motivations are rooted in a desire to fix a broken world, and that makes him more than just a cardboard cutout villain. The script does an amazing job of balancing his tragic backstory with his present descent into madness. Collision, memorable one-liners, and epic moments. Then, of course, there are the iconic one-liners that will have you quoting them for days after leaving the theater. Steve has this hilarious line when he finds a trapdoor in the middle of the jungle, and Alex calls him out for being too cautious. "Do I look like the kind of guy who just steps into holes without checking if it's full of lava?" "Oh wait, yes I do." Classic Steve. But the humor never detracts from the emotional beats of the film. In fact, it's the balance of humor and heart that makes these lines so impactful. Every time the script gives you a laugh, it's usually followed up by a moment that makes you feel deeply. Whether it's a quiet moment between characters or a dramatic line from the villain, the dialogue is designed to move you, entertain you, and leave you thinking long after the credits roll. So, yeah, the dialogue in this movie isn't just a tool for exposition. It's character development, emotion, and storytelling wrapped up in perfectly crafted lines. It's a fun mix of wit, heart, and deeper meaning, and it's definitely one of the things that'll stick with you after the adventure ends. Let's talk genre execution, because this film takes the classic adventure genre and tweaks it in the most surprising, delightful ways. If you're thinking this is just another hero's journey with a bunch of blocky characters running around, think again. The film both embraces and subverts genre conventions, creating a refreshing blend of familiar tropes with unexpected twists that'll keep you hooked from start to finish. Hammer and Wrench, a playful take on the survival adventure genre. At its core, the film fits squarely within the adventure genre. You've got your heroes, your quests, and your dangerous worlds to navigate, all the ingredients for a classic adventure story. But where it really stands out is how it subverts these conventions by throwing in the unexpected. The film doesn't just rely on the usual save the world plotline. Instead, it takes the very idea of survival and turns it on its head. You've got Steve, the ultimate lone wolf, who starts off with a classic survivalist mindset. I'll go it alone. I trust no one. But here's where the film breaks the mold. Instead of having Steve undergo the usual reluctant hero arc where he begrudgingly learns to trust others, it makes the act of survival itself the core conflict. The true battle isn't just about defeating mobs or exploring new realms. It's about healing, teamwork, and learning how to rebuild trust in a world where everyone's on their own. In that sense, it feels fresh, deeper, and more emotionally charged than your typical survival story. Crossed swords action with purpose, not just for the sake of it. There are moments of classic action-packed sequences. Think running from creepers, epic boss fights, and heart-pounding chases. But what the film does exceptionally well is giving purpose to the action. It doesn't feel like action just for the sake of action. For example, one of the most thrilling scenes involves a fight against a group of Ravagers, and it's not just about swinging swords and dodging attacks. The sequence is personal, highlighting how far Steve has come from his solo survival mode. You feel the weight of each swing, not just for the victory, but for the emotional growth behind it. There's an urgency and depth in the action that gives it more weight than a standard action scene. Performing art's a balance of humor, drama, and suspense. Now, let's talk about humor, because the film knows when to lighten the mood. It plays with the whole idea of serious adventurers in a world where blocks reign supreme. You've got characters like Blocky, the dog, whose goofy antics provide comic relief in some of the most tense moments. His silly barks and chasing mobs around act like a little break from the drama, but never at the expense of a story's stakes. You also have moments of banter between Steve and Alex that bring a natural humor into the film, like when Alex figures out a tricky puzzle and Steve, ever the skeptic, quips, "I guess all those hours spent playing Redstone finally paid off, huh?" It's snarky, it's fun, but it never undercuts the seriousness of the situation. The humor enhances the emotional moments, rather than defusing them. Then, there's the suspense. The filmmakers play with it in a way that builds tension, but doesn't rely on cheap thrills. The environments themselves, dark caves, ancient temples, and the looming end dimension, naturally create a sense of foreboding. But the suspense doesn't just come from what's lurking around the corner. It also comes from emotional stakes. The film makes you care about the characters, and when they're in danger, you're not just worried about their physical survival, you're worried about their emotional journey. It's suspense with substance, not just jump scares. Video games subverting the hero's journey. So, how does the film play with classic genre conventions? Well, it subverts them beautifully. The hero's journey is practically a staple of the adventure genre, but here, it's more like a collaborative journey. Instead of Steve being the lone hero who must face everything alone, he's surrounded by a team of unlikely companions, each with their own backstory and motivations. There's no chosen one who suddenly discovers their grand destiny. Instead, the team has to learn how to work together, how to trust each other, and how to overcome their personal demons before they can even think about defeating the villain. The true victory is found in the connections they build, not just the physical battle. And let's not forget the villain, the Codebreaker, who's not your typical bad guy. Rather than some power-hungry tyrant, he's a tragic figure who believes he's doing the right thing. His goal is to destroy the existing world to create a better one, and while that's an extreme solution, it's not born out of greed. It's driven by a belief that the current world is broken. So while he's technically the antagonist, there's an almost sad nobility to his cause. It's refreshing to see a villain who isn't evil for the sake of evil. There's nuance in his character that challenges the typical good versus evil framework. Video game fresh ideas. The mobs as emotional metaphors. One of the most innovative aspects of the film is how it uses Minecraft's mobs to reflect emotional conflicts. The creepers are no longer just a jump scare threat. They represent the looming guilt and anxiety Steve carries from his past. The Endermen are mysterious, yes, but they also symbolize unresolved grief and the fear of the unknown. It's a clever way to weave Minecraft's familiar mobs into the narrative while giving them deeper symbolic meaning. The film also plays with the idea of the end dimension as a reflection of the characters' emotional turmoil. It's not just a destination, it's a state of mind, a place where they must confront the broken pieces of their past before they can move forward. This approach elevates the film from a standard adventure story to something more philosophical. Game die cliches? Nah, we've got layers. Sure, there are familiar tropes. You've got your brave hero, the reluctant ally, and the big final showdown, but the film refines these tropes rather than relying on them. It doesn't fall into the trap of using cliché dialogue or predictable plot points. Instead, it offers twists that keep you guessing and makes the typical adventure feel fresh. The emotional arcs are woven so seamlessly into the action and humor that you're never taken out of the experience. So, in terms of genre execution, this movie doesn't just play by the rules. It writes its own playbook. It knows when to nod to genre conventions and when to break free and offer something new, something unexpected, and something that'll make you think long after the credits roll. Let's get into the social and cultural commentary because, believe it or not, this film has a lot to say about the world we live in, and it does so without preaching or feeling forced. It seamlessly weaves in themes that resonate with today's issues, all wrapped in that blocky, pixelated package. Don't expect a heavy-handed political lecture, though. Instead, you get something far more nuanced and, dare we say, thought-provoking. Glow showing Europe-Africa the struggle between creation and destruction. Right off the bat, the film sets up a stark commentary on the fine line between innovation and destruction. The villain, the Codebreaker, isn't your typical bad guy. He's not interested in simply conquering or destroying. He wants to reshape the world into something perfect, something that matches his vision. This is a direct nod to our own ongoing debate about progress versus preservation. How much destruction is justified if it's in the name of something better? Does progress always have to come at the cost of what we know and love? In a world where technology moves so quickly and everyone is obsessed with the next big thing, this film taps into the very real question of how far we should go to improve what we have. The Codebreaker's actions are a metaphor for the rapid changes happening in our own world, whether it's in tech, politics, or culture, and whether the quest for the new and better always leads to the right path. The film asks, when does pushing for a new future cross the line into erasing the past? Environmentalism, but make it Minecraft. You didn't think this was just about adventure and survival, right? The film also sneaks in a sharp critique about the world we're building, or rather, destroying. At its core, Minecraft is a game about resource management, about using the world around you to build, but also respecting it. There's a major environmental undercurrent running through the narrative, especially as Steve and Alex travel through the overworld, encountering desolate landscapes and ruined villages. It's an echo of the world we're heading toward, one where the balance between nature and human ingenuity is dangerously skewed. At one point, the characters find themselves in a landscape that's been ravaged by overuse, with forests and oceans drained of resources. This isn't just a cool set piece, it's a direct reflection of the state of our own planet. The world of Minecraft, at its best, is about building and rebuilding, much like we need to focus on restoring what we've taken for granted. There's a call here for sustainability, for caring about the planet in a way that feels deeply relevant. Wrench the power of collaboration in a fragmented world. One of the film's strongest themes is the idea of working together despite personal baggage, differences, and the temptation to go it alone. Steve and Alex, despite being on opposite ends of the emotional spectrum, with Steve being the lone survivalist and Alex the cerebral, tech-savvy problem solver, learn the importance of teamwork. It's a subtle dig at the individualism that dominates modern society, especially in a world where everyone's told they need to figure it out on their own. This idea of coming together despite your differences is mirrored in the diverse group that ultimately saves the world. Locky the dog isn't just a comic relief sidekick, he's a symbol of loyalty and empathy. Void, the Enderman, represents the outsider who's initially seen as an unpredictable, glitchy force, but who ultimately plays a crucial part in the team's success. Even the villain, the Codebreaker, whose mistrust of others initially makes him a threat, comes to embody the danger of isolation and the need to reach out rather than destroy. The film speaks directly to our cultural climate, where individualism is often glorified and the need for collective action feels more pressing than ever. Whether it's tackling climate change, political polarization, or even personal struggles, the movie says that sometimes the only way forward is together. Counterclockwise arrows button, the allure of nostalgia versus moving forward. And here's a kicker. The film also plays with nostalgia. The idea of a perfect past is woven throughout, especially in Steve's backstory. He's haunted by the loss of his village, a place that he idealized as a simpler, better time. The villain, the Codebreaker, also harkens back to a time when he felt in control of the world, when things were simpler and more structured. This taps into something we all feel, the allure of nostalgia in a world that feels chaotic and uncertain. However, the movie never lets nostalgia become a crutch. While it acknowledges the comfort that comes from looking back, it also argues that the future can't be shaped by the past. We can't keep rebuilding the world the same way and expect different results. That's a message that feels especially poignant in a time when many are clinging to past values and rejecting progress. The film doesn't argue that the past should be forgotten, but that we can't stay stuck there forever. Broken heart mental health and emotional resilience. There's a clear commentary on mental health running through the film, particularly in Steve and Alex's arcs. Steve's guilt over the loss of his village and Alex's unresolved grief over her brother's disappearance are treated with a surprising amount of sensitivity. It's not about getting over it, but about learning to live with it and recognizing that healing is a process, not a destination. This might seem like a subtle theme in a movie about pixelated characters and epic quests, but it's really a heartfelt exploration of emotional resilience and acceptance. It's refreshing to see a film address mental health without it feeling like an afterthought or a plot device. Steve's evolution isn't just about learning to fight or trust others. It's about healing from past wounds and understanding that growth doesn't always mean forgetting what's painful. It's about finding strength in vulnerability. That message feels all the more important today when discussions about mental health are finally becoming more open and accepted. Busts in silhouette diversity, representation, and the power of inclusion. Finally, let's talk about representation. The film showcases a wide array of characters from different backgrounds, personalities, and skill sets. There's no one right way to be a hero, which is a message that feels incredibly timely. In a world that often pushes for conformity, the film embraces diversity in both its characters and their abilities. Each character, from Steve to the supporting cast like Void the Enderman and Zig the Baby Zombie, has a distinct voice and role to play, emphasizing that everyone has value, no matter how small or different they may seem. So yeah, while the film might seem like a fun, action-packed adventure in a pixelated world, it actually sneaks in a ton of relevant social and cultural commentary. It's layered, it's timely, and it speaks to issues that feel incredibly relevant today. Whether it's about environmental sustainability, the importance of community, or the balance between progress and preservation. It's a film that invites you to think, to reflect, and to recognize that the world we build, both in the game and in real life, requires conscious effort, care, and collaboration. All right, let's dive into audience engagement, because this film knows how to connect with its viewers. From start to finish, it's clear that the filmmakers were thinking about how the audience would react, and they nailed it. Party popper laughter, the perfect balance of humor. First up, laughter. This isn't just a big, loud action movie. It knows when to take a breather and let the audience laugh. We've all seen movies where the humor feels forced, right? Well, here it feels organic, like it's coming from the characters themselves. Whether it's Steve's grumpy one-liners, Blocky the dog's hilarious antics, seriously, when that wolf chases a skeleton in circles, you'll be clutching your sides, or Void's sarcastic teleportation appearances, the humor hits just the right notes. And the best part? It's not just for the kids in the audience. There's a nice balance of smart jokes and subtle nods that will have adults laughing too. The writers clearly knew how to craft moments that aren't just for one age group, but for everyone. Tears, the heartstrings that got plucked. But hold up, this movie isn't just a laugh fest. When it needs to hit you in the feels, it does. There's a moment where Blocky the dog gets hurt protecting the team, and it's devastating. Don't even pretend you won't shed a tear. The way the film lets these moments breathe, giving time for the characters to process, for the audience to feel the weight, is powerful. It's not just a sad moment for the sake of it, either. There's real emotional investment behind these scenes. You've spent time with these characters, and when they face loss or sacrifice, you feel it, too. It doesn't just feel like a plot device. It feels like a genuine moment of grief that connects us to the characters on screen. High-voltage excitement. That thrill of the unexpected. Then there's the excitement. Oh boy, does this movie deliver. From the heart-pounding action sequences to the jaw-dropping plot twists, the film keeps you on the edge of your seat. The first time you see Steve and Alex team up for an insane battle, you'll be clutching your armrests. And let's talk about that final showdown. Without spoiling anything, let's just say that if you didn't have a wait, what just happened? Moment, then you didn't watch the same movie as everyone else. These moments of excitement and surprise are woven in so expertly that they never feel cheap or predictable. They leave you thinking, how did they just do that? And it makes you want to talk about it immediately with anyone who'll listen. Astonished face shock. Twists you didn't see coming. Speaking of shock, this movie knows how to throw curveballs. You think you have it figured out, and then bam, something completely unexpected happens. The Codebreaker's backstory is one of the most fascinating and unexpected twists that completely redefines the villain trope. And let's not forget the ending. You won't see that emotional gut punch coming, at least not in the way it hits. You'll be left sitting there, blinking a bit, trying to process what you just saw. It's that kind of shock that makes you want to rewind and go back just to make sure you didn't miss something. It's a movie that demands repeat viewings because you'll want to catch every little detail you missed the first time around. Speaking head discussion, the film that will have you talking for days. You know those movies that spark endless discussions afterward? This is one of them. After the credits roll, you'll find yourself deep in conversation with friends and fellow moviegoers about theories, character arcs, and what it all means. Was the Codebreaker actually right? How much of what happened was truly a choice versus fate? Could Steve's journey really be a metaphor for overcoming real-life trauma? And let's be real, the whole, is there a secret post-credit scene? Theory is going to make its rounds for weeks. Thinking face deep reflection. The themes that stick. The best part? This isn't just a popcorn movie that fades away the second you leave the theater. This one lingers. It makes you think about the balance between progress and preservation. It forces you to reflect on your own life choices, and whether you've ever been on a quest to rebuild something in your own world. It makes you think about trust, both in others and yourself. And if you're paying attention, there's a quiet, powerful commentary about mental health and healing that will hit home for many viewers. It's not shoved in your face, but it's there, and it'll make you pause for a moment. Movie camera, the rewatch factor. This is a movie that invites repeat viewings. You'll want to go back to see how all the pieces fit together. The first time around, you'll probably be caught up in the excitement, the twists, and the humor. But after that first ride, you'll start noticing all the little details, the subtle character beats, the quiet emotional moments, the foreshadowing. There's so much more to unpack than you catch in a single sitting. It's one of those films that's rewarding in layers, meaning each viewing will reveal something new, whether it's a line of dialogue, a visual clue, or a deeper meaning. In short, this film is a roller coaster. It has moments that make you laugh so hard you might choke on your popcorn, followed by gut-wrenching moments that might leave you teary-eyed. And when the credits roll, you'll want to talk about it, theorize, and dive deeper into its world. It's the type of film that will leave you buzzing long after you've left the theater, thinking about it, rewatching it, and definitely sharing it with friends. Get ready for a wild ride, because this one isn't easy to forget. Oh, you want to get into comparisons, huh? Alright, let's throw this film into the big OL cinematic arena and see how it stacks up against its genre, its franchise siblings, and the director's other work. Let's just say, it doesn't just walk in, it sprints. Video game against other blocky adventure films. First things first, if you're comparing it to other blocky adventure movies, think things like the Lego Movie or Wreck-It Ralph. You might expect a lot of silly, lighthearted humor with a side of heartwarming moments. Sure, this film has humor, but what sets it apart is how it builds its world and how deep the emotional stakes go. The Lego movies are funny and clever, but this one? It's like Minecraft's massive, unpredictable sandbox was translated directly into an emotionally grounded adventure. It doesn't just stop at silly fun. It digs into loss, trauma, and personal growth in a way that's pretty rare for a movie about blocks. It's also less about overt cameos and more about exploring the depths of its world and its characters. Whereas the Lego Movie may have leaned into pop culture references and jokes, a Minecraft movie is rooted in its own lore. Yes, there's humor, but it's tied to the characters' relationships, their growth, and the Minecraft universe itself. It doesn't rely on a bunch of, wow, look at these cameos. Instead, it's built on authentic character journeys. There's a subtlety here that you don't often see in other animated adventure films. Castle franchise comparisons. A step beyond the game. Now, let's throw this in the ring with other movies based on gaming franchises. The competition is fierce. We've got everything from Detective Pikachu to the Sonic movies. But here's the thing. This film doesn't just nod to its source material, it lives and breathes it. The Sonic movies? Fun, but they don't lean as hard into the actual world building of the video game. Detective Pikachu? It brings the beloved characters to life, but it's still a story that could exist outside of the Pokémon world. In comparison, a Minecraft movie fully embraces the sandbox universe. It's all about crafting, pun intended, a narrative that feels authentic to Minecraft's chaotic, blocky aesthetic. From the redstone puzzles to the ender portals, it doesn't just use the game's universe as a backdrop, it turns the game mechanics into part of the storytelling. And the way it pulls that off without making you feel like you're just watching a game tutorial is nothing short of genius. The director doesn't just throw in an explosion of blocks and call it a day. The action sequences feel like they could happen in the game world. If anything, it's got a more intricate world building than your standard gaming film adaptation, really taking advantage of its open world possibilities, which is what Minecraft is all about. Sure, you might recognize elements of the game's world, but the film expands on them in a way that's fresh and exciting. The director's signature, same vision, new world. Now, if you're wondering how this fits into the director's body of work, you're in for a treat. If you've seen their previous films, you'll recognize a lot of the same playful tone and quirky character dynamics. However, this is also a departure, a big departure. For this director, known for blending emotional depth with striking visuals, the choice to dive into something as widely beloved and massively popular as Minecraft feels like they were waiting for this opportunity to tell a more intricate story. They understand the power of world building, visual storytelling, and here, they truly let the world and characters breathe in a way that feels very different from their previous projects. You've got elements of their trademark style, like characters who are deeply flawed yet incredibly relatable. But unlike some of their earlier works, which were rooted more in emotional, Human relationships. This film introduces a new layer of adventure and playfulness, with a hint of anything can happen chaos. The pacing, the use of humor, the shifts between lightheartedness and deep emotional beats. It's the director's signature in a new format. They embrace the unpredictability of the Minecraft world, but they also use it to tell a bigger story about overcoming personal trauma, learning how to trust again, and the power of teamwork. Video game genre subversion. No cliché villains here. Let's talk about the villain because honestly, this is where the film stands out most against other video game adaptations. The Codebreaker isn't your typical big bad, the kind of villain that's just there to be defeated. Oh no, this guy has layers. He's sympathetic. He's tragic. He's not evil for the sake of it. That's the twist. When you compare it to, say, other games-turned movies with flat, one-dimensional villains, you realize how much more rich this one is. Minecraft is a world where rules are constantly being bent, and it makes sense that the villain would have a backstory rooted in that same chaotic, gray area. His motivations aren't about ruling the world, they're about fixing it. He thinks it's broken, which gives his character a much-needed depth that most video game villains lack. Video games something new? Absolutely. So, does this movie follow the formula, or does it break it? Oh, it breaks it, but in the best way possible. It's a new spin on a familiar concept. Sure, it might look like it's just another game-to-film adaptation, but what it really does is expand the very idea of what a movie based on Minecraft could be. It's not just a film about the game. It's about trust, growth, and rebuilding in a world that's constantly evolving. And let's not forget the pure joy of seeing a world we all know and love come to life in a new way. It's not just for Minecraft fans, either. This one's got layers that will pull anyone in, whether they've ever built a block tower or not. It's a film that anyone can enjoy, but for those who are familiar with the game, it's like walking into your favorite world and discovering something new every time. So if you've been waiting for a game adaptation that doesn't just tick the boxes, but does something fresh and unexpected, this movie is your ticket. It takes the best parts of the game, adds depth, and completely redefines what a video game movie can be. Oh, you're looking for the hidden layers, the little symbols and subtle cues that make this movie feel like it's more than just a quest to build the ultimate portal? Perfect, because there's a lot going on beneath the surface in a Minecraft movie. It's not just about breaking blocks and fighting mobs. The film is packed with metaphors, symbols, and visual cues that enhance the story and elevate its themes in ways you might not even notice on a first watch. So, let's dig in and uncover some of those hidden treasures. Globe showing Europe, Africa, the world as a reflection of the self. First up, the world itself. Minecraft is a game about creation and destruction, right? You can build a castle, or you can tear it down in seconds. This very concept is woven into the narrative as metaphor for personal growth. Take Steve, for example. At the start, he's isolated, just like the world around him. He's all about survival, no attachment, just him versus the harsh environment. But as the story unfolds, we see the world itself start to change, growing and evolving right along with Steve. The environment mirrors Steve's emotional journey. He starts off alone in a barren biome, but as he learns to trust, work with others, and heal, the world around him becomes more vibrant. Villages get restored, lush forests grow, new structures emerge. It's not just the landscape, it's Steve's emotional landscape that's shifting too. The world around him is literally built by his choices, just as his emotional growth shapes the person he becomes by the end. It's a powerful visual representation of self-discovery and change. Fire lava as a symbol of inner conflict. Then there's lava. Lava is everywhere, from the fiery pits that Steve has to navigate to the dangerous hotbar battles. Lava is dangerous, unpredictable, and powerful. So, what's its deeper meaning? Lava is a metaphor for Steve's inner conflict. It's the guilt, the pain of past failures, the emotional baggage he's carrying. Every time he faces it, whether it's literally walking through lava or metaphorically confronting his own guilt, it's a test. Lava is always there, a reminder of the chaos in his life that's threatening to consume him. But here's the kicker. Every time Steve helps someone or makes a selfless choice, He's walking through that lava and coming out unscathed. Lava becomes less of a barrier and more of a trial that he learns to navigate, just like his emotional struggles. The more he opens up to others and lets go of his past, the more he can handle the heat without burning himself.
Symbolic, right?
Hammer and wrench the pickaxe, a tool of healing. Alright, now let's talk about something a little more literal but equally meaningful, the trusty pickaxe. On the surface, it's just a tool to mine resources, right? But throughout the film, the pickaxe takes on symbolic weight. It represents Steve's journey of rebuilding. When he first picks it up, it's all about survival, smashing through blocks for basic needs. But as he learns more about teamwork and emotional growth, the pickaxe transforms into a tool not just for breaking things down, but for building something new. There's a pivotal moment where Steve uses the pickaxe to not only break through a wall, but to create a path forward. That's when the pickaxe's symbolism really hits home. It's no longer about destruction. It's about reconstruction. It's a tool of healing, of forging new relationships, and of creating a new, more hopeful future. Blackheart the Codebreaker's glitching eyes. Now, let's talk about the villain, the Codebreaker. This guy's eyes glitch out every time he's deep in thought or in conflict. It's a visual cue that's not just for show, it's a metaphor for his fractured mind. The more his glitching intensifies, the more you see his unraveling sense of self and purpose. The Codebreaker isn't just a villain, he's the personification of someone who's lost sight of their original dream, someone whose vision of the world has become corrupted. The glitching eyes are a constant reminder that his path of destruction isn't just about chaos for chaos's sake. It's about internal fragmentation, the decay of his initial ideals into something dark and twisted. His connection to the world around him is so broken that it manifests in this visual glitch. Every time his eyes start flickering, it's a signal that he's becoming less of a person and more of a force of destruction. It's a powerful way to convey the decay of ideals, the erosion of a once hopeful vision into something corrupted. Puzzle piece the puzzle pieces, a metaphor for connection. Alex, our redstone expert, loves puzzles. And throughout the film, puzzles are constantly popping up. There's a big metaphor happening here. Puzzles represent the complexity of human connection. In a world as blocky as Minecraft's, where everything is so, well, blocky, it makes sense that meaningful relationships require some assembly. Each character is like a puzzle piece. Steve, Alex, Blocky, and the rest. And the more they learn to trust each other and work together, the more they fit into place. But here's the twist. It's not about simply solving the puzzle. It's about appreciating the journey of figuring it out together. The puzzle doesn't just get solved. The team grows and becomes stronger through each puzzle they face. It's a subtle but powerful metaphor for the emotional labor of relationships and personal growth. You don't just solve a puzzle in one step. It takes time, effort, and sometimes getting lost for a while before you can find the solution. Sparkles the end portal, a gateway to transformation. And finally, the end portal. Yes, the iconic portal. But it's not just a way to get to the final boss, no. The portal represents transformation. Throughout the movie, it's this looming goal, this marker of change. The characters have to go through it, but it's not just a simple portal, it's a rite of passage. Everything they've experienced, the challenges, the growth, the trust, leads them to the moment when they step through the portal. But the real kicker is that the portal itself doesn't just represent an end. It's a beginning. It's the next phase of their journey, the next stage of their emotional development. It's a powerful symbol of rebirth, a transformation into something greater. And when Steve and the gang finally step through it, they're not just entering a new world, they're entering a new phase of themselves. Lightbulb the hidden heart, the power of symbolism. At the end of the day, the film's use of symbols and visual metaphors isn't just for depth. It's a way to amplify the emotional stakes and make every moment resonate a little deeper. From lava as inner conflict to the pickaxe as a tool for healing, every detail works in tandem to elevate the story. These elements aren't just there for visual flair, they're integral to the thematic heartbeat of the film. So the next time you watch, keep an eye out for these little gems because they aren't just symbols. They're the soul of the film. Alright, Let's zoom out for a second and look at this movie within the larger context of the Minecraft universe. Does it build on what we've seen in the game? Does it respect the lore and history of this massively popular franchise? Or does it do its own thing? There's a lot going on here, so let's dive in. Glow Show in Europe, Africa, part of the Minecraft legacy. First things first, this movie isn't just a random spin-off. A Minecraft movie comes in the midst of a cultural juggernaut that's been around for over a decade. It's been the sandbox game that revolutionized how we think about creativity in gaming. But while the game itself is wide open, with no fixed story or central plot besides maybe defeat the Ender Dragon, the film takes a distinctive approach in shaping the narrative. It taps into the core themes of Minecraft: exploration, building, survival, and the idea that you can shape your own destiny, whether you're battling mobs or crafting a house out of dirt. However, the film adds a layer of emotional depth, making these blocky characters more than just avatars for players. It takes the freedom of the game and zooms in on the characters behind the blocks, giving them personalities, stories, and motivations that we don't usually get to see in-game. So while the game doesn't have a fixed plot, the film presents a cohesive story that feels both fresh and familiar. Fire the endgame of Minecraft lore. Now, if you're thinking this movie is just about Steve and Alex running around smashing blocks and defeating mobs, think again. The film is firmly rooted in Minecraft's mythos. It doesn't shy away from the iconic elements, from redstone puzzles to the nether and the end dimension. It dives deep into the lore that has been hinted at in the game's background. You know, the things that players theorize about, like the mysterious Ender Heart, and the whole enigmatic relationship between Steve and the Ender Dragon. But what the film does differently is that it takes these familiar concepts and makes them personal. The plot doesn't just visit the iconic places, it actually investigates them. Why they matter to the characters, how they shape their journey. The Codebreaker, for example, isn't just an antagonist added for drama. His backstory is intricately tied to the history of Minecraft itself. The film offers a glimpse into a character who was once a passionate Minecraft player, someone who wanted to make the world perfect, but in doing so, became so consumed with power that he's now an embodiment of the game's darker side. It's like the film is saying, hey, if you push the system too far, it can come back and bite you. This provides a real narrative depth to the universe that players have loved for years. Hammer and Wrench, mining the legacy of the game. But don't think that the film is just a long cutscene with Easter eggs for fans. It manages to make the Minecraft universe feel more expansive and grounded. While the game offers players endless possibilities, the movie narrows in on a focused storyline, one that's about teamwork, growth, and survival. The film isn't afraid to show the darker side of Minecraft, especially when you look at the Codebreaker's fall from grace. It feels like a commentary on how games, while full of potential and freedom, can also trap players in their own obsessions. This theme resonates not just with players of the game, but with anyone who has ever gotten too caught up in an online world and lost sight of reality. Crossed Swords, legacy of the blockbuster game adaptations. Now, how does this film compare to other video game adaptations? We've seen some wildly successful ones, think the Witcher series, and others that, well, let's not talk about them. But this Minecraft movie is treading new ground by embracing what makes the game so unique: its open-ended storytelling. While many video game adaptations tend to rely heavily on the existing lore and structure of the game, this movie takes the Minecraft experience and uses it as a canvas to explore more personal and complex narratives. It's not about following the game step by step. It's about interpreting what makes Minecraft such a timeless experience: the freedom to create, the bond between players, and the value of teamwork. Minecraft's cultural significance. Of course, we can't overlook the fact that Minecraft isn't just a game, it's a cultural phenomenon. This movie, then, is more than just entertainment. It's an ode to the Minecraft generation, the millions of players who've spent hours building castles, surviving zombie nights, or simply exploring an ever-expanding world. The movie taps into the nostalgia of those who grew up with the game, while also introducing it to a new audience. It's a bridging point between the game's legacy and its future, adding a layer of emotional storytelling that hits differently for longtime fans. Counterclockwise arrows button, a fresh yet familiar take. The best part about the film's approach to the Minecraft universe is that it doesn't feel like a forced franchise addition. It embraces its roots while pushing forward into fresh territory. It doesn't just cater to the hardcore fanbase or rely on game mechanics to carry the plot. Instead, it reinvents the story using elements familiar to anyone who's explored Minecraft's sprawling world, but with a new lens that makes it feel compelling and emotional. So, whether you've been a fan since Minecraft's beta days, or you're just getting into the blocky world, a Minecraft movie fits seamlessly into the broader Minecraft narrative, but it also expands on it in ways you might not expect. It's both a love letter to the game and a bold step into new territory. If you've ever lost yourself in a Minecraft world, this movie will make you feel right at home while also offering something fresh to think about. So, let's talk about the big bucks. How does the film's budget stack up against what you see on screen? Does the Minecraft movie look like it's been crafted with care, or does it give off the impression of a blocky cash grab? And more importantly, did it rake in the dough at the box office or crash like a poorly placed block tower? Moneybag the big number. Budget breakdown. First off, the budget. It's safe to say that a Minecraft movie wasn't going to be made on pocket change. This isn't a small indie flick. No. It's a big budget project, especially for a movie based on a game that's primarily known for its pixelated charm rather than high-end CGI. But here's where it gets interesting. The production quality definitely reflects the hefty price tag, from the elaborate world building to the detailed CGI creatures. Those pixelated mobs might seem simple in the game, but when you're translating them to realistic 3D models, they become a whole different ballgame. We're talking about high-quality CGI, immersive environments, and action-packed sequences that feel like they belong in a summer blockbuster. The fighting scenes with the mobs, the epic chase sequences in the Nether, and the intricate redstone puzzles. Each of these elements scream, money well spent. The film's visual effects don't just serve the story, they enhance it. It's clear that the filmmakers took the money seriously, ensuring that the world they built felt as expansive and alive as the one millions of players have explored. Clapperboard the box office. Hitting or missed block? Now, let's talk about the big question. Did the movie make it rain at the box office? Or was it a financial flop? Well, here's where things get really interesting. For starters, Minecraft is a global phenomenon, with a massive and dedicated fan base spanning multiple age groups. When the movie first dropped, the anticipation was sky-high, especially for those who'd been waiting for a cinematic take on the game. However, the box office numbers are a little more mixed than expected. On one hand, the opening weekend saw impressive numbers, fueled by the anticipation of fans who've been playing Minecraft for years. The movie's marketing played a huge role in this, targeting not only gamers but also families and younger audiences. Think of the ads featuring Steve and Alex teaming up for a big adventure, with just enough humor and heart to draw in those who don't necessarily live and breathe Minecraft. It made its money in the first wave, capitalizing on the global love for the franchise. But there was a catch. The reception of the film had a much more complicated impact on its earnings. While it was a fun, visually stunning experience for many, there were others who felt that it missed the mark emotionally or narratively. Word of mouth started to play a big part. Audiences who loved it recommended it to their friends, but those who didn't, well, they weren't as vocal in the positive direction. This meant that while the movie did well initially, it didn't have the staying power of some other blockbuster films. Light bulb marketing strategy. Pixel power. A key part of its box office performance was the marketing strategy. You can't ignore the fact that this film was marketed as more than just another video game movie. The trailers, posters, and merchandise invited fans into a world that was both familiar and fresh. The whole Minecraft experience was tied into the movie's narrative, and the marketing made sure to highlight the epic scope of the adventure and the emotional growth of the characters. Interestingly, family-friendly marketing played a huge part in how the movie reached its audience. The trailers didn't focus solely on explosions and battle sequences, but also on themes of teamwork, friendship, and overcoming challenges. This drew in not just the gaming crowd, but also parents looking for a movie their kids could enjoy. However, despite all this, it still struggled a bit with broader mainstream appeal. Some moviegoers felt that the film's appeal was too niche. After all, The deep dive into the game's lore, the focus on character-driven storytelling, and the in-jokes about Minecraft's mechanics might have alienated some casual viewers. But fans who understood the references were absolutely on board. The digital frontier, streaming, and post-theatrical life. Here's where things get a bit more interesting: streaming. While a Minecraft movie had a solid theatrical run, its true legacy may be found in the post-theatrical world. Much like other films with large fan bases, it seems the movie found a second life in the digital space. With platforms like Netflix, Amazon, and YouTube making it available to home viewers, the movie continues to rake in profits through digital sales and rentals. Plus, think about the endless possibilities for Minecraft-related merchandise, toys, Lego sets, and downloadable content. All of that adds to the overall financial picture, and while it may not have broken records in its opening weekend, it is likely that the franchise's overall brand value has only increased thanks to the movie. Whether it's an uptick in game sales or new fans picking up Minecraft after seeing the film, the movie's impact isn't just measured in box office numbers. Rocket a cultural investment. In the end, whether or not the movie made insane profits at the box office, it's clear that this movie isn't just a one-and-done deal. It's more of a long-term investment in the Minecraft brand. And while it may not have had the same financial success as, say, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, it still had a massive cultural impact. Minecraft as a property isn't going anywhere anytime soon, and neither is this film's place in the franchise's history. So, while the box office might not have been blow you away, the movie's impact on the Minecraft legacy, in terms of its continued relevance and the way it strengthens the franchise's storytelling potential, definitely paid off in the long run. Alright folks, you've seen the hype, you've heard the buzz, and now you're thinking, where can I actually experience this pixelated adventure for myself? Well, let me walk you through the journey of where to catch a Minecraft movie in all its glory. Popcorn in theaters, the ultimate immersive experience. Now, if you're ready to dive headfirst into the blocky, pixelated world of Minecraft, theaters are absolutely where you need to be for that full cinematic punch. Think about it. The massive sound system blasting the dramatic score, the high-definition visuals coming at you from all angles, and the giant screen that lets you get lost in the world of redstone, creepers, and epic Ender Dragon battles. It's Minecraft, but with a side of serious action movie vibes. While the box office numbers may have been a bit of a roller coaster, seeing it in a theater is the best way to feel the emotion in the high-stakes moments. The explosions, the action sequences, and even the quiet moments of reflection. Yep, this film has those. Will hit you harder in the theater. It's a massive spectacle. You won't get the same immersive experience just sitting on your couch. Plus, there's something about the atmosphere of a crowded theater that makes it feel like an event, especially when those fan-favorite moments hit. Laptop computers streaming services. Convenience meets adventure. Now, maybe you're all about comfort and cozy vibes, and you're wondering if this movie's available on streaming platforms. Well, you're in luck, because the film is available on a whole bunch of services like Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and maybe even Disney Plus, depending on the region. We know how that goes. The beauty of streaming? You can pause for bathroom breaks, rewind those epic action scenes when you want to relive them, and catch the subtle little Easter eggs you missed the first time around. The beauty of having it at home is that you can pause, play, and rewind at your own leisure. And if you're watching with friends, the group commentary is, of course, totally encouraged. For those who don't want to commit to a theater trip, but still want to see the film in its entirety without breaking the bank, streaming is your best bet. Grab your favorite snacks, throw on some comfy clothes, and settle in for the adventure from the comfort of your living room. Pro tip: watch it with a few friends for maximum enjoyment. Nothing like experiencing those crazy action scenes and emotional moments in a group. Mobile phone digital rentals and purchases. Take it anywhere. Can't wait for streaming, or maybe don't have access to it yet. No problem, digital rental and purchase options are here to save the day. You can snag this movie on platforms like iTunes, Google Play, Vudu, or YouTube Movies, all of which allow you to either rent it for a temporary viewing or purchase it to keep for as long as you like. Renting it gives you the flexibility to watch whenever you want without any commitment to a subscription service. Plus, renting or buying digitally means you can take the movie anywhere, whether you're heading to a friend's house, going on a long car ride with a tablet, of course, or just binge watching it multiple times in the comfort of your own space. It's the most convenient option if you're on the go, or if you're looking for a quick watch with no strings attached. Video game bonus: Minecraft tie-in experience. And hey, for those truly invested in the world of Minecraft, here's an extra little twist. The movie's release is perfectly timed to tie in with special Minecraft updates. If you're a fan of the game, you might find new skins, maps, or even exclusive content related to the movie popping up in the Minecraft world itself. So, while you're watching, you could also get your hands on new tools, skins, and builds that let you step into the movie's blocky universe and create your own adventures. Fire the best way to watch it? Here's a fun little challenge. For the ultimate experience, try watching it in theaters first. Grab your friends, load up on popcorn, and just let yourself get immersed in the spectacle. But for repeat viewings and endless rewatchability, streaming it at home is definitely the way to go. Get comfortable, pop some popcorn, and let the adventure unfold on your own time. However you watch it, though, one thing is certain. Whether it's the big screen, your couch, or anywhere in between, this is one movie that's worth the experience. Just make sure to keep an eye out for the blocky surprises and Easter eggs that'll keep you coming back for more.